What's going on, everyone? Welcome into another episode of Smart Money Sundays. Hope everybody's had a great, restful weekend, ready to attack the markets again this week. We're going to start off here, as usual, on Euro USD. But honestly, we're not going to be talking about Euro USD to the extent that we usually do, or really the majors as a whole, as we usually do, simply because we are currently trapped. Right? We are currently stuck between our demand and supply here on Euro USD, and I'm really not interested in trading the dollar until we actually break out and continue with a unidirectional swing or trend move. All right, so you'll recall the 1 hour down close candle that originally we were looking for reactions off of, and we have gotten reactions off of it, right? Once, twice, and then once, twice here, almost formulating a range, and then we did appear to be breaking out relative to this high. However, we traded into this supply, obviously sold off and ran the lows again, right? So you can see that we are trapped now really between our demand and our supply, and almost kind of expanding on this range, just creating that kind of I don't know, I think I've heard Nate call it a homophone pattern, or something like that. I don't know, but expanding range here on Euro USD. And personally, I'm not looking to get involved until we get a clear break, right? We get a clear break and we start actually waving again. My bias is obviously still, it's still to the upside until this actually breaks, until we breach and close below and sustain below this previous higher low that produced our higher high. Right, and so that naturally has to be our bias. Of course, we can always adjust and react and adapt should we break, should we breach, but for the time being, I'm simply looking at this as a liquidity run, right, and a potential sell to buy, especially if we get back above here and we invalidate this supply, then certainly I'll be looking for extensions back up into previous highs. Okay, so that's EU just stuck, and really that's the same across the board, and so not really much to say. GBP USD. This is a trade that I gave out to our private group last week, just simply looking to fill in this gap that was created from last Sunday. And you can see that price did trade into that beautifully, and we've gotten that really solid reaction after having run out, created sell side liquidity, run that out, right? As well as our previous low here, that liquidity was taken out as well. Potential sell to buy scenario. Therefore, we were looking at this gap fill as our point of interest for quick retracements intraday for continuations, which it appears we are having now. All right, and so congrats if you caught that trade. We certainly will be looking to take out this previous high here. However, a bit of a similar situation on GU as with EU is our last kind of supply here, right? And being stuck between that, right, and creating a new lower low. But at the same time, looking at this as a liquidity run sell to buy, especially if we get back above this high, then we should certainly be good to take out our previous high here from January. So a bit of a similar, you can kind of see the similarities between EU and GU at the moment. Somewhat trapped, so we certainly want to see how price behaves and reacts around this area of supply. If we break above, then we should go ahead and look to target our old highs here. Okay, and then AU and the Aussie dollar and Kiwi dollar are always a bit different than the others. This one, kind of the same narrative as what we talked about last week. I'm not really viewing this as a low in the market. It's kind of a flat low. Would have preferred to see some sort of accumulation and manipulation, sell to buy, to further validate this being a low in the market, but we didn't see that, right? We just kind of created the initial low and just chopped around and have pushed higher, and that leads me to believe that this is a corrective move back up to the upside. And so naturally we can look at, okay, what are some clean areas of supply that price can then play off of in premium, right, to get that selling opportunity down through our previous low, right? And so for me, it's going to be this up close here, this last couple of hourly candlesticks right? Running out intraday liquidity, buy to sell for the high volume entered into the market, creating this new low. Viewing this as inducement, right? Internal liquidity to run out while simultaneously mitigating our up close. And so we're creeping up there now. We certainly could get that buy to sell. If we get that break of structure, then that would be really good, in my opinion, as confirmation to go ahead and target these lows. All right, so that brings us in and around 0.6730 into 0.6740 region for potential selling opportunity, right? And we certainly could, depending on time and price, see a reaction from our candle in here, right? After taking out this high within the counter trend, right? Sell to buy, break, potential POI for a quick intraday buy. That's certainly on the cards, but it's going to be dependent on time and price. If we get down here during Asian session or even Sydney session, then I'm not really going to be interested in that area for intraday longs. I think if we chop around and then get that London session, sell to buy, that would be more appealing to get back up into our overall POI, where we can be looking for distribution for selling opportunities. Okay, so that is AU, and that's really the extent of the majors outside of USD/JPY, which is still valid from last week. All right, still like this demand to supply flip here on the 4-hour time frame. All right, viewing this as a bunch of internal liquidity to potentially run out, retrace, premium price. All right, here's our true area of supply. I'd like to get that A into B into C move, looking to target our singular wick low, sell side liquidity resting beneath it, 129.8 as the target. All right, so this is very much so still on the cards. You just have to kind of continue to remain patient with it, and if it just keeps trickling on down and runs out this previous low, then obviously I think this is going to be invalid. Oh well, we just move on. All right, but if we push up to start the week, right, into this POI, then I will be certainly looking for that follow through for another extension leg to the downside. All right, so same level there on USD/JPY. All right, so Euro GBP. Right, had a couple beautiful trades on EG over the last couple of weeks. Initially from this overall area of supply, this lower high that produced a lower low. Caught that move. You certainly should have taken majority of your volume off the table there. Beautiful trade. We also caught the opportunity last week from our flip zone, right here at 8855. Beautiful trade there was given out, I believe, on Smart Money Sundays. I believe I gave it out on this episode last week. All right, so we caught that additional move. You should also be break even and have taken a significant portion of profit or of your volume off the table, as we now have run out our previous low. You can see that we wicked right through it and had that reaction higher. Now, I do still think that this one can trade deeper into discount and fill in some of this imbalance, right? So I'm still looking for shorting opportunities to take it down into at least 8,650, right? Filling in this range here, right? And so for the here and now, we have a couple of areas of interest to look for additional selling opportunities. First is obviously going to be here, right? As supply, first POI. And then the next is going to be, should we break through that level, breach through it, then this is going to be the secondary level, where then we could be looking for continuations down into that 8,650 region. All right. So still looking for shorting opportunities here on EG alongside this lower time frame trend and momentum. So that looks pretty clean, pretty straightforward. GBP Swiss franc. Obviously, we saw a significant rally to the upside last week. I do believe on Smart Money Sundays, I talked about this 25-minute level around 1.09728. We never did run the low again and trade into that level. We're now creating higher highs and higher lows. Oh well, missed that. that's okay. We can look to continue to scale into this newfound bullish momentum, right? And with that, I do think price can trade down into this area of demand here at 1.1191, running out this internal low, this lower time frame low, as inducement for a continuation higher. All right, so that looks pretty clean, pretty straightforward. Following the mitigation train, you can see this flip, traded right into it nicely. Right, again, supply here, trade into it nicely, and so just simply following this chain, or this mitigation train, as we call it in our private mentorship in our courses, following that on up to the upside. Okay, and so we can certainly look to target previous highs here, 1.14 as the overall objective. All right, so keep this level on your radar, keep this one on your watch list. Could be a very nice opportunity, especially if we get good time and price London session or New York session open tomorrow. All right, moving on to Euro JPY, a couple hedge opportunities on this one. Right, you'll recall that we had our overall level of supply that price traded into and really just kind of consolidated, and we didn't really see much manipulation in terms of a buy to sell here, but we did still respect the overall level of supply, and now we're kind of creating these lower highs and lower lows, but at the same time, you could justify this being an inducement, right, or an engineering of sell-side liquidity that was run out, sell to buy. And so we have a potential hedge long opportunity here that was discussed last week with the 30-minute down close candle, right, trading into that, sell to buy, break of lower time frame structure, retracement into discount for a potential continuation into a hedge short position in and around 143, right? And you can see just on the lower time frame, we had demand here, right? Price traded into the demand, wick, right? Demand fails, flips to supply. So if we can get back up into there, then I'll certainly be looking for lower time frame distribution for potential continued shorts. Right, understanding that on the higher time frames, we do still have very clean equal lows here on the 12-hour, on the daily, higher time frame, you name it. We have a nice pool of liquidity resting beneath those lows. So we certainly could see another swing to the downside, taking out that sell side liquidity. All right, so a couple of options there on Euro JPY. Just need to understand the overall levels and understand the overall objective. All right. So I do think it is likely that we run out the low from Friday, potentially trade deeper, but if we do get that kind of sell to buy, take out the high, then I believe we could be good for that intraday long, that hedge long opportunity up into 143. All right, so that is Euro Yen. GBP JPY, very similar situation. We do have relative equal highs up here, and we had that sell to buy trading into a previous area of demand here, right around 158, 158.8, 159. Right, so we did sell to buy here and break the lower time frame structure to the upside. We do have a potential draw on liquidity with these highs, and so very similarly, looking at kind of the down close here as demand, so a potential sell to buy here on GJ. Look for that pullback and continuation higher. All right. EuroCAD. Now EuroCAD still has tons of sell side liquidity. I mean, this thing created multiple sets of equal lows as it traded higher. You can see the first set being these lows. Next set, these lows. We now just created more relative equal lows after having traded into a potential flip zone, right, which you can see here on the daily time frame. You had demand, price traded into the demand, reaction, fail, flip to supply. We have traded into that now, and so this could be the makings of a UTAD, up thrust after distribution, right, running out these highs, trading into that flip zone, right, with the sell side liquidity. It does appear to be rather enticing, right? So we just need to be patient with this one, right, and wait for the lower time frame price action to validate that this is indeed going to be respected. We're going to create a lower high and then a new lower low. So we just need to see that lower time frame kind of buy to sell, potentially trading up into that 78.6 or a little bit deeper, kind of 4.680, right, as confirmation for a shorting opportunity down into our sets of equal lows. Okay, so that's going to be the first target. Second target, these lows, and then final target are overall equal lows at 1.4240. All right. So be on the lookout for that. It does appear that we're slowing down in momentum, so I would like to see that, like I said, lower time frame type of buy to sell as confirmation of a lower high printing. Okay. Next we have CAD Swiss franc, which I do believe we can take on to the upside. This one has run out a significant historical low. Right, within this wick from 2020, you can see that we tapped right through it and have retreated since then. You can see that that objective is met, right? And once that objective is met, they switch to a new objective, right? So we kind of accumulate in price, run that low out, right? And now we are formulating lower time frame, higher highs and higher lows. So I think we can take that on up. Right? Again, not placing any limit orders, but I do have this area as a potential point of interest for a run on intraday liquidity here. It's in this low. I would like to see price respect this level, get some sort of sell to buy, right, and then take it on the pullback for the continuation. All right, so potential long opportunities formulating here on CAD Swiss franc. Euro AUD. All right, this is an interesting one. I do think on EA, what we certainly ought to do is trade back down into our gap, which was never truly filled last week. Right, you can see that we closed here, right, but that gap was never filled. So I think this is going to be an area that will magnetize price as a sensitive price point. And I believe we could potentially look to sell down into that, just given the nature of the lower time frame price action. So on this one, I am looking at the 2-hour time frame, right, as a potential counter trend opportunity or counter momentum opportunity, whatever you call it. Right, I think if we can get back up into here, right, we can look at that as a run on descending liquidity. Nice area of supply here. Then I want to see the lower time frame distribution, the buy to sell, the break, right, and the continuation back down into that gap. All right, so a pretty good looking level here on Euro AUD coming into this week. All right, two more, guys, two more. GBP AUD. All right, this one we do have, we do still have our buy side liquidity. We have really clean equal highs that I believe we can target as objective. We're just currently kind of trickling on down, a bit of a corrective move, in my opinion. And so I think if we can get back down into our previous highs here, previous significant level, right, if we can get back down into there as a point of interest, we can then look for lower time frame price action as we teach in our courses, right, the sell to buy and the continuation on up into buy side liquidity here. All right. So certainly no limit orders here, as it's just a general level, right? But it's something that we certainly want to keep on our radars to monitor that lower time frame price action in and around 1.8030. All right, and last but not least, we have US 30. I'm still looking to follow that mitigation train on down. Obviously, this is that initial level that I gave out weeks ago. It played out beautifully. We still have our level from last week, which I believe is valid. If we can get back up into this, right, demand, reaction, fail, flip to supply. If we can get back up into that, right, I think that would be a nice area of premium for follow through, for continuation. Not to say we can't trade through that a bit higher into our inefficiency here, but I'm certainly more interested in this level here as our point of interest, right? But this is our overall our overall trading range here between this high and this low. Okay, so looking for further shorts on US 30, and I would assume, I don't really look at S&P 500, but similarities there within the equities markets. All right, guys, so hope you enjoyed this episode. Hope you have some decent clarity coming into this week, higher time frame levels, higher time frame objectives. As always, if you like the analysis and you want to get the analysis on a daily basis with our private group, please feel free to message us on Telegram at ArielFX Trading. We'd be happy to hop on a call with you and talk through customized solutions to help you reach your goals. All right, safe trading, guys. Have a great week, and talk to you again next Sunday. Thanks.